Today we are going to be dealing with fractions and decimals. So, yeah, I'm going to be teaching you the basics right now. You should probably write down this stuff. I'll explain it in a minute, and yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so we have some pointers. We have some pointers here. Sorry for the delay. If you saw that notification, I don't know what's going on. We have some pointers here. Fractions are always less than 1, but this may not apply to you if you are dealing with a fraction with the same numerator as denominator. And what that would mean is that if you're working with 1/2, the fraction is less than 1, as said right here. However, if you're working with 2/2, then your fraction would fall in here, and this is equal to 1. So yeah. So we have a couple questions here. Our topic: what is the decimal form? I'm about to explain that. However, you should write down these questions, which is, first off, what is a decimal? Well, a decimal is a different way of making a fraction and is used in the monetary system in America, at least. If you're not in America, I'm not sure if it applies to you, but I know it applies to me. So we might have $1 and 20 cents, and that's how it'd be written instead of $1 and 20 cents. Cause yeah, I guess that's not how we write our stuff. I think it's just extra work. We could just put a dot right there instead of having to do a C and a line through it. So I guess that's like how it works. Everyone wanted to be lazy. But back to the video. And then how do you get a fraction to a decimal, which is where decimal form comes in? And you divide the numerator by the denominator. And speaking with 1/2, you divide 1 by 2. Because if you look at this is a numerator. This line means divided by, and this 2 is the denominator. And you're all probably wondering, how do you divide that? Because 1 is less than 2. And if 1 is less than 2, you can't divide it. And that's where fractions come in. But you also need the decimal. And so, sorry about that. And for the fraction to become a decimal, you gotta divide that, and it'd be this 1, 2, and it would be how many times 2 goes into 1. It doesn't go in at all, so you add a 0 and a point right there. And that's how it's gonna become a decimal, because right here we have a decimal. This is equal to a fraction. You gotta say it as the fraction form, and you gotta be able to get this to this. So indefinitely, you just multiply it. So you just do the opposite. You do 2 times 1. Or no, dang it, I forgot how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, I'm sorry guys. But you just add a 0 right there. This will make sense in the end. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. So you subtract 10 equals 0. And there you go, you got a decimal, a nice decimal right there. So I'm gonna erase all that. I'm gonna put one up for you guys. Actually, I'm gonna do an example. One more example. So it will be 3 8ths. And this one is a harder one because it's not 1/4, which would be 2 8ths. It's not 1/2, which would be 4 8ths. So how do you get this one? So you're gonna do what we did for the last one, which is divide 3 by 8. And if you divide 3 by 8, you're gonna get the decimal. And I would advise you to have a calculator at hand, like I do. If you don't, just use paper. But yeah, so put a multiplication symbol, and it's not going to be this for long. So if you guys are learning other stuff like algebra, or just 7th grade math or something like that. So like when you get into middle school, like that's gonna be when it really gets into effect. However, elementary you more have a freebie because you're not really using variables that will look just like that. But right now we're doing fractions, so we can use that. We're not doing anything with functions. So this goes in 0 times. Then don't forget to add the point, because if you don't add the point, you're not going to get the correct answer. So if you do this, for example, and you forget to put that point right there, I'm going to scribble that out there. If you forget to put that point there, then it's going to be 10 rather than 1/10. And yeah, so 0 and 8 goes into 30 3 times, because that is 24. And that would make 6. Now I'm going to continue it over here, so 6D. And then that goes into 7 times, because that is 56. And there's the subtraction symbols. Equals 4, then 40, 8, 5 times, and finally our decimal terminates because it's minus 40 equals 0. So that's where our decimal terminates. And the next one is gonna be one that I will leave for you guys to solve on your own for practice, and we'll go over it. It'll be a 50-second timer. This one's gonna be fairly easy. Like this is a really easy one. This is like a basic decimal. I'm gonna leave you guys with and that is 4/16. And I remember when I filmed it last. I'm gonna delete this part. So I'm gonna put it back up. So you guys can do that. But to make space, 4/16. So what is the decimal 4/16? So I'm gonna leave you guys to that. Remember what we did, and our 15-second timer will start now. Okay, I hope you guys figured that out. If you couldn't, that's okay. If you haven't learned this before, that's completely fine. I didn't get it my first time. So we're going to do 4 divided by 16. And again, that doesn't go in, so we are going to do 0 times and the decimal point, then 0. 16 goes into 40 2 times, because 16 times 2 is 32. And then 80. So you guys are like, that's a huge number, very overwhelming. However, if you trace it back to 8, which is in the basic times tables, 8 times 5, and this is when you get into like the higher grades, it's going to be a dot rather than what you have here. 8 times 5 equals 40, and 40 times 2 equals 80. And you guys are wondering, how is this going to help me? Well, 8 times 2 equals 16. If 8 times 2 equals 16, 8 times 5 equals 40. You can group the two together to make 80. So 16 times 5 is therefore 80. And I'm going to do 5. And since I don't have space, I'm going to eliminate that. And that's what I do when I don't have space. But you guys should probably not do that. But there you go. It is 25 hundredths. And if you want to see the fraction form, be 25 out of 100. This is it, or it could also be 1/4, or just your average quarter if you're here in America. But I don't want to offend anyone off of currency, so yeah. We are going to do one more to end it off, and that is going to be, let's see, 50 hundredths. This is like one of the easiest ones to decode, because if you take off those two arrows, 5 is half of 10. So that translates into 1/2. And there you go. In the next video, we're going to be doing multiplying fractions. And decimals. And there you go. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next one. Let's see. I think that's all I have for now. But thank you so much. If you haven't gotten this, I would suggest you write it down. And thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Stay in school. Keep on learning. Remember, you can always learn stuff, no matter how old you are or how much you know. Okay? Thank you for watching. AidanMarvelMan out.